Welcome to Trieste, Italy. Beautiful roads, stunning views, and one very Italian way to enjoy them: a Maserati.
If a Lamborghini is styled to look like it belongs to tomorrow and a Ferrari gives the impression it's fresh out of a wind tunnel, a Maserati is styled to look like it's a work of art. This very gorgeous car with me is the GranTurismo, and it's been updated for 2026 and beyond. Over this video, we'll talk of what's changed and just how it is to drive.
It's a Maserati, so it's only fitting we talk design first.
Not much has changed at the size, but you could argue, was there really a need for change? Because this is just one terrifically proportioned car. Long bonnet, shapely cabin, and then that lovely flowing tail end. It has all the classic Maserati elements like these vents behind the front wheels. You got this lovely glass house with this iconic shape to the rear pillar. Of course, the Trident logo over here, and just check out the way the fenders just swoop into the tail section. It really is a very, very pretty car.
Changes to styling are subtle.
Now, if you know your Maseratis, you'll know that this GranTurismo looks more aggressive than the one before it, and that's all down to the section below this very pronounced horizontal line. You've got this large grille with the Trident logo taking pride of place up front, but what makes the difference is the splitter and these openings for the intercoolers that really adds a look of aggression and sportiness to the Maserati's form. But up top, it is still a very gorgeous piece of thing with trademark elements from Maserati styling sheet, like these very pronounced fenders, this massive bonnet.
At the back, clear lens tail lamps are your biggest giveaway to this being the latest version of the GranTurismo. Quad exhausts are standard and they deliver a sweet sound. As before, the lineup also includes the Gran Cabrio convertible. Moving inside.
Now, not much has changed on the inside of the GranTurismo, but the changes that have been made do enhance the experience. Now, it starts with your very first touch point, which is the steering wheel. Now, it gets this new sort of squared out shape and is great to hold. There's this Alcantara finish, which makes it really nice. And what hasn't changed though are these dagger sized paddle shifters, which are mounted straight onto the steering column. Very, very satisfying to use on the go. Now, other things, this remains a screen heavy cabin, so there are 4 screens. So you get your digital dials, touchscreen infotainment system. You also get a touchscreen for the climate control and seat functions and all of that. And the 4th screen is this. It's not an analog clock, but this digital clock has also been updated. Maserati wants to give it the look of an analog clock, so they've changed the glass, and functionality wise it works as a clock, as a G meter, as a chronograph and such. This little panel is also new. It's a camera for the driver monitoring system, so in case for whatever reason you're dozing off behind the wheel of your Maserati, it will alert you. The other thing that you'll notice over here is that the buttons for P, R, N and D have been replaced with these toggles, metallic finish, give it a more tactile experience, and that's something you'd want in your sports car. Now, to bring your attention to this portion of the cabin. Now, the upper touchscreen, it gets Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wireless connectivity and the works, so you can adjust a lot of the vehicle settings, etc., from right up here. This lowered screen is quite interesting in its own right. Now, a touchscreen for the climate control system isn't an ideal solution, but Maserati has done well. So if you swipe left to right, you control the blower settings, so you don't really need to look down. And if you swipe up and down, you control the temperature settings. So the passenger and driver have their own individual portions of the touchscreen, and it is reasonably easy to use on the go.
I'd much rather have good old climate control knobs though. The screens take away some of the cabin's warmth.
This is a very lovingly put together cabin. You can tell that a lot of man hours have gone into this with the embroidery over here and the choice of materials and all that. But The fact is that you can have your Maserati's interior to look the way you want it to. There is a full brochure of its own of materials and finishes and colors that you can choose, and I think you can have a lot of fun speccing your car. A thing to bring up though is that I do find my seating position, even at its lowest, a bit higher than my liking, so you don't really sit low down as you would expect to in a car so low.
On the subject of seats, Maserati would like you to see the GranTurismo as a 4-seater. The rear seats are usable if only for short stints, but the experience at the back is way comfier than what you'd get in, say, a Porsche 911. Now to the business end of the GranTurismo.
Before I get to the engine, just check out the size of that bonnet. Now, Maserati says this piece of aluminium is among the largest in the entire automotive world. Now, as for the heart of the matter, which is the engine, it's a 3-liter V6 Maserati's own Nettuno engine. Now, it makes a 490 horsepower in Modena spec, but the Trofeo has been upped from 540 horsepower to 590 horsepower. If you're concerned by ethanol and its related problems and don't want to take a chance with your next sports car, well, Maserati has a solution for you as well. There's an electric version of the GranTurismo on offer too. It's called the Folgore.
I won't be driving the Folgore, but here are the key stats. Its 3 motors produce a continuous power of 760 horsepower, official range is up by 86 kilometers to 540 kilometers, and this has been made possible by a new front axle disconnect function for the all-wheel drive system. The GranTurismo I will be driving is the Modena, 490 horsepower of Italian GT goodness.
First things first, a gorgeous Italian GT on fantastic roads in an idyllic setting. This is the proper Grand Touring experience. The GranTurismo isn't a GT just in name, its whole persona. Now, the thing about the GranTurismo is that despite its near 500 horsepower output, it doesn't drive urgently like you'd expect a near 500 horsepower car to. It's what I'd call a bit laid back in its responses. Yes, if you provoke it, then it changes character, but for the better part, it wants you to take a more relaxed view of life. Don't get me wrong, because it's got this lovely reserve of power that you can enjoy, tap your foot down, and you get this big dose of power really propelling you forward and fast. Maserati says the GranTurismo Trofeo does the 0 to 100 kph dash in 3.5 seconds, while this Modena takes 3.9 seconds. It is fast, but it's not furious. What it does is, it launches with elegance. I think that's the best word I could use for the way the GranTurismo drives. It sounds good too. It's not the loudest or maddest. It doesn't have those pops and bangs and crackles that we've come to expect and associate with performance cars. But when you drive it hard, it does have a very nice soundtrack. There's a gruffness to the engine that you get at all times, and it sort of goes with the character of the car. And when you drive it harder, that potential of the engine, you hear it first before the power actually comes in. Maserati says it has enhanced the soundtrack of the Trofeo with a more emotive note. Before I talk handling, I have to bring your attention to the GranTurismo's size. Now, one thing that you might not be able to tell from the videos and photos of the GranTurismo is that this is a very large car. It's nearly 5 meters long. It's very wide base. You do need to calibrate yourself for that. It's not a small, light and tight kind of sports car. The 1.8 ton mass is kept in check by standard fit air suspension, while the power is channeled to all 4 wheels via all-wheel drive. The setup is well suited to the GranTurismo's intended purpose. That elegance I spoke of earlier comes through in the corners too. Even in the corners, it won't dart from side to side. It's not the sharpest tool in the business, but you will love the fluidity with which it turns. And what I really dig is the steering wheel. It is very well weighted, very responsive, great to hold. A happy takeaway of the driving experience in Italy is the GranTurismo's ride comfort. Now, it rides on big wheels, fat tires, but ride comfort is actually pretty well sorted. The suspension is pretty absorbent. It doesn't feel jarring at any point. And with the suspension lift function, it will be reasonably well suited to Indian conditions as well.
There's a new country drive mode that raises the car by 20mm till speeds up to 120 kph, and I think it would be the go-to setting for Indian owners. The Gran Turismo and Gran Cabrio will go on sale in India in the coming months, and we expect the range to start around 2.7 crore rupees, with the Trofeos closer to the 3 crore rupee mark. The all-electric Folgore will also be on offer. Similar money could buy you a Porsche 911 GTS or a Mercedes AMG GT, but I wouldn't think of the Gran Turismo as a direct rival to either. It's not as focused a performance car, but does more of more things. The Gran Turismo story is as much about luxury as it is about sportiness. Ride comfort is a big plus, and for what it's worth, the rear seats are usable too. It only helps that the Gran Turismo is drop-dead gorgeous. For the wealthy few shopping in the segment, the Gran Turismo deserves a long hard look. You might just fall for its charms.